We're currently about to get underway again with our power contracting, farming and power energy open camp draft. 101 will be Joe Payne, Coal Black. 102, Jason Comiskey and Dash. 103, Leonie Edwards and Trilby. 104 will be Ben Tapp and Bill. 105, Darren Jones, Fancy Comet. 106, Fiona Holtz, Bingley Arena. 107, Grant Watham and Diva. 108 will be Lachlan Thompson and Good Camp Glenda. 109, Scott Edwards, Little Abbey. 110 will be Lexi Payne, Rosa Time. In the camp you're currently watching, competitor 101, Joe Payne and Cole Black, building on his score of 83.5. Following Joe will be Jason Comiskey and Dash. 102, 103, Leonie Edwards. 104, Ben Tapp. 105, Darren Jones. 106, Fiona Holtz. 107, Grant Watham. 108, Lachlan Thompson. 109 will be Scott Edwards. And 110, Lexi Payne. Currently in camp, we have competitor 101, Joel Payne and Cole Black, building on an 83.5 from the first round. In the camp should be next, Jason Comiskey and Dash, waiting at the gate, 103, Leonie Edwards, 104, Ben Tapp, 105, Darren Jones. And that's another completed course for Joe Payne. Score to come through for you shortly, Joe. In the camp should be Jason Comiskey and Dash, 102, 103, waiting at the gate, Leonie Edwards. The score for Joe Payne and Cole Black, 22.5, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 89.5 on his 83.5 from the first round. Gives him a total of 173. Out on course, you're watching competitor 102, Jason Comiskey and Dash. In the camp should be 103, Leonie Edwards. Waiting the gate will be 104, Ben Tapp and Bill. 105, Darren Jones. Fancy Comment. Score for Jason Comiskey and Dash is a 22 for cutout, 63.5 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's an 89.5. Combined with his previous score of 22, it's 111.5. In the camp, we should have Leonie Edwards and Trilby. Waiting at the gate will be 104, Ben Tapp and Bill. 105 will be Darren Jones, Fancy Comment. 106, Fiona Holtz. 107, Grant Watham. 108, Lachlan Thompson. 109, Scott Edwards. 110, be Lexi Payne. 111, Carl Green. 112, John Mulcahy. 113, Mick Southern. 114, Rick Hopkins. And 115, be Cameron Webster on Olivia. Leone takes away a cutout of 20 and 20 only, building on 19.5 from the first round, gives her a total of 39.5. In camp should be competitor 104, Ben Tappan Bill. That a 76 in the first round. Currently in camp, you're watching competitor 104, Ben Tappan Bill. We'll be going to 300 today in the Power Contracting and Farming, Power Energy Open Campdraft. And that's a 21 and 21 only for Ben Tappan Bill, combined with his previous score of 76, gives him a total score of 97. In the camp should be Darren Jones, Fancy Comet. Waiting at the gate be Fiona Holtz, Bingley, Ariana. 107 will be Grant Watham and Diva. 108, Lachlan Thompson, Good Camp Glenda. 109, Scott Edwards and Lil Abbey. 110, Lexi Payne, Rose of Time. 111 will be Carl Green and Gazelle. 112, John Mulcahy, Stratton Guest to Charlotte. 113 will be Mick Southern and Hostess. 114 will be Rick Hopkins, Austin Power. 115, Cameron Webster and Olivia. Don't forget to come down and check out the Terry Standing saddle below the Secretary's box here. Handmade saddles using traditional methods and materials in the Taroom region. Terry has impeccable attention to detail, customising, designing leather and goods. Terry and his wife Jackie have been supporters of Willinga at Juandah Plains Campdraft from its inaugural year and generously sponsor the maiden Campdraft. So if anyone wants to come down and check out the maiden Campdraft prize saddle from Terry, it's under the Secretary's box. Quick clean up of the camp. Darren goes out with no score at all. Competitors, don't forget to turn your radios on. We're broadcasting on FM 88.8, so dial in for all your daily action in the Centre Arena on 88.8 if you're on the grounds. Currently working in the camp, we're watching Fiona Holtz, Bingley Ariana. She's building on an 83 from the previous round. Following Fiona will be 107, Grant Watham. 108, Lachlan Thompson. 109, Scott Edwards. 110, Lexi Payne. 111, Carl Green. 112, John Mulcahy. 113, Mick Southern. 114 will Rick Hopkins. 115, Cameron Webster. 116 will be Matthew Moffat. 117, Barry Groves. 118, Rowan Marks. 119, Everett Hiscock. 120 will be Robert Leach. You're currently watching competitor 106, Fiona Holtz, out on course. 83 in the first round. Score through for your Fiona at 21 cutout, 53.5 for horsework, sorry. 3 for the course, gives you a total of 77.5 with a combined total of 160.5. In the camp should be competitor 107, Grant Watherman Diva. Grant will be building on an 87. Waiting at the gate, Lachlan Thompson, 108, Good Camp Glenda. 109 will be Scott Edwards. Score for Grant Watherman Diva, 21 for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 86 on top of your 87. Gives you a total of 173. In the camp, competitor 108, Lachlan Thompson, Good Clamp, Glenda. 109, Scott Edwards and Little Abbey. 110 will be Lexi Payne, Rose of Time. 111, Carl Green Gazelle. 112, John Mulcahy, Stratton Guest to Charlotte. 113 will be Mick Southern and Hostess. 114, Rick Hopkins, Austin Power. 115, Cameron Webster and Olivia. Out on course, we're currently watching competitor 108, Lachlan Thompson, Good Clamp, Glenda. That's another completed round. In the camp should be 109, Scott Edwards, Little Abbey. Waiting at the gate will be Lexi Payne, Rose of Time. Score for Lachlan Thompson and Good Camp Glenda, 21.5 cutout, 61.5 horsework, 4 for the course. That's a total of 87. On top of your 22. Will give you a total of 109. Currently working in camp, you're watching competitor 109, Scott Edwards and Little Abbey. Following Scott will be Lexi Payne, 110, Rose of Time. Waiting at the gate will be Carl Green, 111. 112, John Mulcahy. 113, Mick Southern. 114, Rick Hopkins. 115, Cameron Webster. 116, Matthew Moffat. 117, Barry Groves. 118, Rowan Marks. 119, Evan Hiscock. 120 will be Robert Leaf. Score there for Scott Edwards and Little Abbey, 22 cutout, 64 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's a 90. Gives Scott a combined total of 90. Currently in camp, you're watching competitor 110, Lexi Payne and Rose of Time, building on a 20. Following Lex will be 111 Carl Green. Waiting at the gate should be John Mulcahy, 112 Stratton Guest of Charlotte. Lexi goes away at the 22 and a 22 only. On top of a 20, gives her a grand total of 42. Currently in camp, competitor 111, Carl Green and Gazelle, building on his 87. In the camp should be competitor 112, John Mulcahy. Standby, 113 Mick Southern, hostess, 114 will be Rick Hopkins, 115 Cameron Webster, 116 will be Matthew Moffat, 117 Barry Groves, 118 Rowan Marks, 119 Evan Hiscock, 120 Score for Carl Green and Gazelle, 22 cut out, 63.5 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's an 89.5 on top of his previous score of 87. Gives you a total of 176.5, Carl. In the camp, she had competitor 112, John Mulcahy, Stratton Guest of Charlotte, building on a 16.5. Following John will be 113 Mick Southern, 114 Rick Hopkins, 115 Cameron Webster. Out on course, competitor 112, John Mulcahy and Stratton Guest of Charlotte. Building on a 16.5. Score for John Mulcahy and Stratton Guest of Charlotte. 16 cut out, 64 for horsework and 4 for a course. That's an 84 on top of your 16.5, gives you a grand total of 100.5. In the camp should be competitor 113, Mick Southern and hostess. Waiting at the gate will be Rick Hopkins, Austin's Powers, 114, 115, Cameron Webster and Olivia, 116, Matthew Moffat, She Be a Cat, 117, Barry Groves, Beyonce, Soda Breeze, 118 will be Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React, 119 Evan Hiscock and Nix, 120 Robert Leaf, Davrose Conviction, 121 Bridie Puttercombe, Toonga Chrome, 122 Clayton Hock, Hang Time, 123 Rachel Cheers, Don Reek and Nimble, 124 will be Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy, 125 will be Matthew Moy and Empire. Out on course, you're currently watching Mick Southern and hostess. Building on his previous score of 72. In the camp should be 114 Rick Hopkins, Austin Power. Waiting at the gate will be 115 Cameron Webster and Olivia. Score for Mick Southern and hostess, 16 for cutout. And no further score. With his 72, will give him a grand total of 88 points. In the camp should be competitor 114, Rick Hopkins, Austin Power. Rick's building on a score of 16. Waiting at the gate, Cameron Webster, 115, Olivia, 116, Matthew Moffat, She Be a Cat. Rick Hopkins and Austin Powers leave with a 21 and a 21 only. Combined with their previous score of 16 gives him a grand total of 37. In the camp should be Cameron Webster and Olivia, competitor 115. Building on an 88. Waiting at the gate should be Matthew Moffat, She Be a Cat. Following Matthew be 117, Barry Groves, 118, Rowan Marks. Out on course, we're watching Cameron Webster and Olivia. Cameron Webster and Olivia leave with a 22.5 and a 22.5 only on top of his 88 gives him a grand total of 110.5. In the camp, competitor 116, Matthew Moffat, She Be a Cat. Building on his 89. Waiting at the gate, be 117, Barry Groves, Beyonce Soda Breeze. Following Barrowby, 118, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React. 119, Evan Hiscock and Nix. 120 will be Robert Lease, Davro's Conviction. 121, Ronnie Puttycombe, Toonga Chrome. 122, Clayton Hock, Hang Time. 123, Rachel Cheers, Donreek and Nimble. 124 will be Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy. 125, Matthew Moyne, Empire. Currently watching competitor 116, Matthew Moffat. Score for Matthew Moffat and She Be a Cat, 22.5 cutout, 64 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's a 90.5 on top of his 89, the 179.5. Currently in camp, we're watching competitor 117, Barry Groves, Beyonce Soda Breeze. Barry's building on a 20.5. Following Barry, waiting at the gate will be 118, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React. 119, Evan Hiscock. 120, Robert Leach. 121, Bridie Puttycombe. 122, Clayton Hock. 123, Rachel Cheers. 124, Bill Harding. 125, Matthew Moy. 126 will be Terry Hall. 127, John Templeton. 128, White Young. 129 will be Sarah Dillon. 130 will be Trudy Picton. Out on course, you're currently watching competitor 117, Barry Groves. Beyonce Soda Breeze. Building on a 20.5. In the camp should be 118, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React. Score for Barry, Groves and Beyonce Soda Breeze, 21 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's an 87.5. On top of your 20.5 will get you a grand total of 108. Currently in the camp, you're watching competitor 118, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React. Building on his 79. Big thank you to Willinga Pastoral Co. supplying this great line of cattle. We'll be drafting here all week. Also, a big thank you to our judges for this power contracting and farming and power energy open camp draft, Mr. Graham Finlayson and Nathan Mauler. Score for Rowan Marks, Turner Marks React, 22 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 89. On top of your 79, gives you a grand total of 168. In the camp, should be competitor 119, Evan Hiscock and Nix. Waiting at the gate will be 120, Robert Lease, Davrose Conviction, 121, Bridie Cuttercombe, Toonga Chrome, 122 will be Clayton Hawk, Hang Time, 123, Rachel Cheers, Donrika Nimble, 124, Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy, 125, Matthew Moyne Empire, 126, Terry Hall, Breck Shoulda Duck, 127, John Templeton, Tell Us Two Times. Currently out on course, you're watching competitor 119, Evan Hiscock and Nix. Score for Evan Hiscock and Nix, 21 for horsework and no further score on top of his 87.5. We'll give him a grand total of 108.5. Currently in the camp should be competitor 120, Robert Lease, Davros, Conviction. Waiting at the gate will be 121, Roddy Puttycombe, 122, Clayton Hawk, 123 will be Rachel Cheers, 124, Bill Harding, 125, Matthew Moy, 126, Terry Hall, 127, John Templeton, 128, Wyatt Young, 129 will be Sarah Dillon, and 130 will be Trudy Picton and the Jitterbug. Out on course for competitor 119, 120, Robert Leach. Building on his previous score of 21.5. In the camp should be 121, Bridie Puttycombe. Waiting at the gate will be 122, Clayton Hawk. Score for Robert Leach and Davros Conviction, 21.5 cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, that's an 88.5. On top of their previous score, 21.5, gives them a grand total of 110. In the camp, competitor 121, Bridie Puttycombe, Tunga Chrome, building on an 89.5. Waiting at the gate will be Clayton Hawk, 122 Hang Time, 123 Rachel Cheers, 124 Bill Harding, 125 Matthew Moy. Out on course, we're currently watching 121 Bridie Puttycombe, Tunga Chrome, building on an 89.5. In the camp should be 122 Clayton Hawk, waiting at the gate, 123 Rachel Cheers. Score for Bridie Puttycombe and Tunga Chrome, 22 cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 86.5. On top of your 89.5, gives you a grand total of 176. Currently in the camp, we're watching 122 Clayton Hawk and Hang Time. Don't forget, Deb's Catering's on the grounds all week, offering breakfast through to dinner. Big thanks to John and Deb for providing quality food, affordable prices for Juandah Plains Campdraft. Also thanks to Kelly and the Tipsy Texan for coming out this week. If you're in need of a coffee or tea or hot chocolate, Tuesday through to Friday, Kelly will be here on the grounds. Saturday, Sunday, we'll have Vanessa from Cafe 4419. Score for Clayton, 15.5 cutout, 57 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a grand total of 76.5 on top of his 23. That's a 99.5 for Clayton Hawk and Hang Time. In the camp, 123 Rachel Cheers, Don Reek and Nimble. Waiting at the gate will be 124 Bill Harden, Lonesome Daddy, 125 Matthew Moyne Empire, 126 Terry Hall, Breck should have ducked. 127 John Templeton, Tell Us Two Times. 128 will be Wyatt Young, Brother Toughwood. 129 Sarah Dillon, Smart as a Whip. 130 will be Trudy Picton, the Jitterbug. 131 Jessica Spohr. 132 Colleen Smith. 133 will be Harry Steger. 134 Abby Bright. 135 Lachlan Durkin. Score for Rachel Cheers, Don Reek and Nimble, 21 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 for the course. Takes away an 87 on top of 84.5. The grand total of 171.5. In the camp should be Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy, 124. Waiting at the gate will be 125, Matthew Moy, 126, Terry Hall. Out on course, watching competitor 124 and Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy. Building on an 88.5. Score for Bill Harding, Lonesome Daddy, 20.5 cutout, 63.5 horsework, 4 for the course. It's a total of 88 on top of his 88.5. Leaves him with a 176.5. Let's have a quick change of cattle here in the camp. Better 125, Matthew Moy and Empire. We're going through to 300 here today in the Power Contracting and Farming and Power Energy Open Campdraft. The winner of this Power Energy and Power Contracting Open Draft will take home a gold Ride Tough buckle and $50,000 prize money. Made by Hales have also donated a beautiful saddle pad to the winner of the Open Draft. The Perpetual Trophy has also been handmade by the very talented Jay Hall. Each round, the Open, the highest cutout winner will receive $1,000. The aggregate cutout winner over the 3 rounds will win $5,000 and also the Tom Strawn Memorial Quart Pot. Also, we have TJ Saddles, the round saddle maker, leather craftsman Terry Standing, handmade saddle underneath the secretary's box here for the maiden draft. Terry uses traditional methods and materials from and in the Taroom region. Terry has an impeccable attention to detail, customising and designing leather goods. Terry and his wife have been supporters at the Willinga at Juandah Plains Camp Draft from its inaugural year and generously sponsor the maiden camp draft every year. So if you're on the grounds, come downstairs, have a look under the secretary's box. A big thank you to Terry and his wife. Currently watching competitor 125, Matthew Moy and Empire, building on a 15.5. In the camp should be 126, Terry Hall, Brex should have ducked. 127, John Templeton, tell us 2 times. 128, White Young, Brother Toughwood. 129 will be Sarah Dillon, smart as a whip. 130, Trudy Prickton, the Jitterbug. 131, Jessica Spoor, My Cat Star. 132, Colleen Smith, Banara Portress. 133, Harry Steiger, Hazelwood Cold Chisel. 134, Abby Bright, Saltwater Grommet. 135, Lachlan Durkin, Durkin's Georgette. Score for competitor Matthew Moy, 125. 20 cutout, 61.5 for horsework and 4 for the course. That's an 85.5. On top of his 15.5 gives him a grand total of 101. In the camp, we're currently watching 126, Terry Hall. Brex should have ducked. Following Terry will be 127, John Templeton, tell us 2 times. Out on course, we're currently watching 126, Terry Hall and Breck Should Have Ducked, building on an 88.5. Score for Terry Hall and Breck Should Have Ducked, 23 cutout, 63.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, that's a 90.5. On top of your 88.5, that's a 179, Terry. Currently watching competitor 127, John Templeton, tell us 2 times. John's building on a 15.5. Score for John Templeton and tell us 2 times, 21.5 cutout. On top of his 15.5, gives him a grand total of 37. Also, I've just been informed there's a very important announcement. The bar is open. Currently watching competitor 128, Wyatt Young, Brother Toughwood, building on a 22. So Lauren just informs me the bar is open, so go up and check out the outstation waterhole. Score for Wyatt Young and Brother Toughwood, 21.5 for cutout, no further score. On top of his 22 will be a 43.5. In the camp should be 129, Sarah Dillon, smart as a whip. Following Sarah will be 130, Trudy Picton, the Jitterbug, 131, Jessica Spohr, 132, Colleen Smith, 133, Harry Steger, 134, Abby Bright, 135 will be Lachlan Durkin, 136, Karen Burns, 137, Erica Hanrahan, 138 will be James Moorhead, 139, Kurt Hanrahan, 140 will be Bradley Comiskey in Snapchat. Unfortunately, that's a no score there for Sarah Dillon and smart as a whip. Just clean the camp up here. Sarah leads with a grand total of 22.5. Waiting at the gate will be competitor 130, Trudy Picton the Jitterbug. Following Trudy will be Jessica Spohr, My Cat Star. 132, Colleen Smith. 133, Harry Steger, Hazelwood Cold Chisel. 134, Abby Bright, Saltwater Grommet. 135, Lachlan Durkin, Durkin's Georgette. 136, Karen Burns, Cat Be Quick. 137, Erica Henderhan, Christmas Cat. 138, James Moorhead, Style and Blues. 139 will be Kurt Henderhan and Peptolina. 140, Bradley Comiskey and Snapchat. Currently working in camp, competitor 130, Trudy Picton and the Jitterbug, building on a 77.5. Waiting at the gate should be 131, Jessica Spoor. 132, Colleen Smith. 133, Harry Steger. 134, Abby Bright. 135 will be Lachlan Durkin. 136, Karen Burns. 137, Erica Henderhan. Score for Trudy Picton and the Jitterbug, 20 and 20 only, with a combined previous score of 77.5, gives her a grand total of 97.5. In camp, we have competitor 131, Jessica Spoor, My Cat Star. Out on course, you're watching competitor 131, Jessica Spoor, My Cat Star. Jessica Spoor and My Cat Star take away a 22 and a 22 only, on top of their previous score of 0 from the day before, gives them a grand total of 22. In the camp should be competitor 123, Colleen Smith, Banana Portress. Following Colleen will be 133, Harry Steger, Hazelwood Cold Chisel. 134, Abby Bright, Saltwater Grommet. 135 will be Lachlan Durkin. Out on course, competitor 132, Colleen Smith. Go away with a cutout score of 15 and 15 only. On top of their 73.5, gives them a grand total of 88.5. Looking over his cattle, we have 133, Harry Steger, Hazelwood Coal Chisel. Following Harry will be 134, Abby Bright, 135, Lachlan Durkin, 136, Karen Burns, 137, Erica Henrahan, 138, James Moorhead, 139, Kurt Henrahan, 140, Bradley Comiskey, 141, Stephen Hart, 142, Regan O'Donnell, 143, Jody Harding, 144, Josh Smith, 145, Hamish Thompson. Currently watching competitor 133 and Harry Steger, building on a previous score of 22. It's another completed round for Harry Steger and Hazelwood Coal Chisel. Score for Harry, 21 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 88.5 on top of your 22. Gives you a grand total of 110.5. Currently in the camp, you're watching Abby Bright, Saltwater Grommet. Following Abby will be 135, Lachlan Durkin, Durkin's Georgette. 136, Karen Burns, Cat Be Quick. 137 be Erica Henrahan, Christmas Cat. 138 will be James Moorhead, Style and Blues. 139, Kurt Henrahan and Pepto Zena. 140 will be Bradley Comiskey and Snapchat. Out on course, we're watching competitor 134, Abby Bright, Saltwater Grommet. Score for Abby Bright, competitor 134, 20 for cutout, 55 for horsework. Correction, 55.5 for horsework and 3 for the course. That's a 78.5 on top of your 21. Gives you a grand total of 99.5. Out on course, competitor 135, Lachlan Durkin, Durkin's Georgette, building on an 86.5. Following Lachlan will be Karen Burns, 136, Cat Be Quick, 137, Erica Henrahan, 138 will be James Moorhead, 139, Kurt Henrahan, 140, Bradley Comiskey, 141, Stephen Hart, 142 will be Regan O'Donnell, 143, Jody Harding, 144, Josh Smith, 145, Hamish Thompson, and 146, Pete Knutson. Score for Lachlan Durkin and Durkin's Georgette, 22 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 89 on top of your 86.5. Gives you a grand total of 175.5. Currently watching competitor 136, Karen Burns, Cat Be Quick in the camp. Waiting at the gate will be 137, Erica Henrahan, Christmas Cat. Big thank you to Willinga Pastoral Co for supplying all the cattle here this weekend. Over the next 6 days. Score for Karen Burns and Cat Be Quick, 16.5. On top of a 22 is a 38.5. In the camp should be 137, Erica Henrahan, Christmas Cat. 138 will be James Moorhead, Stolen Blues. 139, Kurt Henrahan. 140 be Bradley Comiskey. 141, Stephen Hart. 142, Regan O'Donnell. 143, Jody Harding. 144, Josh Smith. 145, Hamish Thompson. Erica goes away with a 21.5 for cutout and a 21.5 only. On top of a 22, gives her a combined total of 43.5. Currently in camp, we have competitor 138, James Moorhead, Style and Blues. Rolling James will be 139, Kurt Henrahan. 140, Bradley Comiskey. Currently at 138 in this Power Contracting and Farming, Power Energy Open Campdraft. Very big thank you to Power Energy and Power Contracting and Farming for the continuous support of the Juandah Plains Campdraft. So if you see Sonny and Levi around on the grounds, make sure you contact them for all your power and energy and contracting and farming needs. Out on course, 138, James Moorhead and Style and Blues. Score for James Moorhead, 22 and 22 only, which gives him a grand total of 22. In the camp, 139, Kurt Henran. Riding Peptozina, building on a 20.5. Waiting at the gate will be Bradley Comiskey and Snapchat, 140. 141, Stephen Hart, the medalist. 142, Regan O'Donnell, Too Soon for Whiskey. 143, Jody Harding, Riley. 144, Josh Smith, Canipes Tamika. 145 will be Hamish Thompson, Binna Buckaroo. 146 will be Pete Knutson and Kilbig and Kimberley. 147, Troy Palmer, Benia Shaquille. 148, Joe Maher, Lady Blu-ray. 149, Ben Williamson, time and time again. 150 will be Tommy Williamson and Ruby Rebel. Out on course at the moment, we're currently watching competitor 139, Kurt Hanrahan, building on a 20.5. In the camp should be competitor 140, Bradley Comiskey in Snapchat. Score for Kurt Hanrahan and Pepto Zena, 23 cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, that's an 89.5. On top of your 20.5, gives you a grand total of 110. Looking over his cattle in the camp is 140 Bradley Comiskey in Snapchat, building on an 89.5. Following Bradley will be Stephen Hart, 141, riding the medalist. 142 will be Regan O'Donnell, 143 Jody Harding, 144 Josh Smith, 145 Hamish Thompson. Out on course, we're watching competitor 140, Bradley Comiskey in Snapchat, building on an 89.5. In the camp should be 141, Stephen Hart, the medalist. Score for Bradley Comiskey in Snapchat, 22 for cutout, 65.5 for horsework, 4 for the course. Gives him a 91.5 on top of his 89.5 yesterday. A grand total of 181. Currently working in the camp, we have competitor 141, Stephen Hart, and the medalist. Stephen's building on his 88.5. Following Stephen will be Regan O'Donnell, too soon for whiskey, 142. 143 will be Jody Harding, Riley, 144, Josh Smith, Knipes Tamika, 145, Hamish Thompson, Binia Buckaroo, 146, Peter Knutson, Kilbeek and Kimberley, 147 will be Troy Palmer, Binia Shaquille, 148, Joe Maher, Lady Blu-ray, 149, Ben Williamson, time and time again, and 150 will be Tom Williamson and Ruby Rebel. Score for Stephen Hart and the medalist, 16.5, combined with his score of 88.5, gives him a grand total of 105. Currently in camp, competitor 142, Regan O'Donnell, too soon for whiskey. Building on a 20.5. Out on course, competitor 142, Regan O'Donnell, too soon for whiskey. In the camp, we should have 143, Jody Harding and Riley. Following Jody will be 144, Josh Smith. 145, Hamish Thompson. 146, Pete Knutson. 147, Troy Palmer. Score comes through for Regan O'Donnell, 21 cutout. On top of a 20.5, gives her a grand total of 41.5. In the camp should be competitor 143, Jody Harding. Riding Riley. Jody's building on a 90. Following Jody will be 144, Josh Smith. 145, Hamish Thompson. Score coming through for Jody Harding and Riley. 22.5 for cutout. On top of a 90, gives her a 112.5. In the camp, we have competitor 144, Josh Smith, Canipes to Maker. Building on a 22. Following Josh will be 145, Hamish Thompson, Binia Buckaroo. 146, Pete Knutson, Kilbeg and Kimberley. 147 will be Troy Palmer, Benia Shaquille. 148 will be Joe Maher, Lady Blu-ray. 149 will be Ben Williamson, time and time again. And 150, Tommy Williamson, Ruby Rebel. Score for Josh Smith and Canipes to Maker, 22 cutout, 58 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 84. On top of his 22, we'll give him a grand total of 106. In the camp should be competitor 145, Hamish Thompson, Binia Buckaroo, building on a 15.5. Following Hamish should be 146, Peter Knutson, Kilbeg and Kimberley. 147, Troy Palmer, Binia Shaquille. 148, Joe Maher, Lady Blu-ray. 149 will be Ben Williamson, time and time again. 150, Tommy Williamson, Ruby Rebel. Out on course for Hamish Thompson and Binia Buckaroo. Following Hamish will be 146, Peter Knutson, Kilbeg and Kimberley. 147, Troy Palmer. 148, Joe Maher. 149, Ben Williamson. 150 will be Tommy Williamson. 151, Rick Young. 152, Tam Boschhammer. 153, Jackson Ball. 154, Morgan Marks. 155, Andrew Storman. 156, Lee Trainer. 157, Jay Hall. 158, Jessica Wickham. 159 will be David Murphy. 160, Mitchell Hoy. Score for Hamish Thompson and Binia Buckaroo, 20.5 cutout, 55 for horsework, 3 for the course, gives him a grand total of 78.5 on top of his 15.5. Be a combined total of 94. In the camp, we have Peter Knudsen, Kilbeg and Kimberley, building on a 90.5. Score for Peter Knudsen and Kilbeg and Kimberley, 15 and 15 only, combined with his 90.5, will give him a grand total of 105.5. In the camp, 147, Troy Palmer, Binia Shaquille, building on an 82, following Troy will be Joe Maher, 148, Lady Blu-ray, 149, Ben Williamson, 150, Tommy Williamson, 151, Rick Young, 152, Tam Boschhammer, 153, Jackson Ball, 154, Morgan Marks, 155 will be Andrew Storman. Currently in camp, we're watching competitor 147, Troy Palmer and Binia Shaquille, building on an 82. Following Troy will be 148, Joe Maher, 149, Ben Williamson, 150 will be Tommy Williamson, 151, Rick Young, 152, Tam Boschhammer, 153, Jackson Ball, 154, Morgan Marks, 155 will be Andrew Storman. Score for Troy Palmer and Binia Shaquille, 17 cutout, 58 for horsework, 4 for the course. It gives him a 79 on top of his 82. There's a grand total of 161. In the camp, competitor 148, Joe Maher, Lady Blu-ray. Building on his 22. Following Joe will be Ben Williamson, time and time again. 149, 150 will be Tommy Williamson, Ruby Rebel. 151, Rick Young. 152, Tam Boschhammer. 153, Jackson Ball. 154, Morgan Marks. 155, Andrew Storman. Score there for Joe Mar and Lady Blu-ray. They go away with a 22.5. Combined with his 22, give him a grand total of 44.5. Competitor 149, Ben Williamson, time and time again. Building on a 22, following Ben will be Tommy Williamson, Ruby Revel. 151, Rick Young. 152, Tam Bosch Emma. 153, Jackson Ball. 154 will be Morgan Marks. 155, Andrew Storman. 156, Lee Trainer. 157, Jay Hall. 158, Jessica Wickham. 159, David Murphy. And 160 will be Mitchell Hoy. Currently in camp, we're watching competitor 149, Ben Williamson, time and time again, building on a 22. In the camp, we should have 150, Tommy Williamson, Ruby Rebel. Score for Ben Williamson and time again, 22.5 cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, that's at 89.5. Combined with his 22, will give him a grand total of 111.5. In the camp, we should have competitor 150, Tommy Williamson, Ruby Rebel. Following Tommy should be 151, Rick Young, Bernard Debonair, 152, Tam Bosch Emma, Aaron Gilly Abigail. 153, Jackson Ball, Raymance. 154, Morgan Marks and Rochette. 155 will be Andrew Storman and Rathcool Halo. Tommy Williamson takes away a no score there, combined with his 81.5 from yesterday, gives him a grand total of 81.5. We'll have a quick change of cattle. We'll go on with 151, Rick Young. 152 will be Tam Bosch Emma, and 153, Jackson Ball. I'll hand the microphone over to Leslie. She'll take you through the next 50.
And a very big thank you to Lloyd Davidson for giving us his time to help announce here over this week. He's riding as well, so big commitment there for Lloyd. Now we're underway with competitor 151, Rick Young and Benera Debonair. He's out on course and into the camp goes 152, Tam Boschhammer and Aaron Gelly Abigail. Standby 153, Jackson Ball, 154, Morgan Marks. We have a score for Rick Young and Benera Debonair, cut out 21.5. Had a 21.5 in the first round. That's a total of 43 points. 43 points aggregate there for Rick Young and Benera Debonair. Tam Boschhammer now looking over our cattle. Big thank you to Roger and Tam for their contribution to our competitors' dinner last night. I didn't hear any complaints about the dinner. Everyone was absolutely... they absolutely enjoyed the steak and veggies, also the desserts. So very big thank you to our supporters, Tam and Roger Boschhammer. And Tam's now on camp at competitor 152 with Aaron Gelly Abigail. Jackson Ball stands by at 153. Also standing by 154, Morgan Marks, 155, Andrew Stallman. Very big thank you to Power Contracting and Farming and Power Energy for sponsoring our Open Campdraft. I do have an announcement, and I'll read it a couple of times, but at approximately 1 p.m, Tyler and Tim from the live stream crew would like to interview some young children who have made the trip to Juandah. Any children who would like to be involved in the interviews, please check with Mum and Dad first, and if it's okay with them, we'll see you at the sandpit at 1 o'clock to do those interviews. So I'll read that a bit later on, but any young children who'd like to be involved, just go and have a yarn to Mum and Dad, and you might like to make it onto live stream. We watch Tam Boschhammer with Aaron Gelly Abigail, competitor 152. Tam is adding to her first round score of 22. And this time she has a cutout of 15, totaling 37 points. Selecting his beast now is competitor 153, Jackson Ball and Ray Mance. Previous score of 20.5. Morgan Marks is at the gate at 154 with Ricochet. Standing by 155, Andrew Stallman, 156, Lee Trainer, 157, Jay Hall, 158, Jessica Wickham, 159, David Murphy, 160, Mitchell Hoy, 161, Michael Hiscock, 162, Ben Trainer. Out on course, competitor 153, Jackson Ball and Ray Mance. Entering the camp, 154, Morgan Marks Ricochet. We should have 155, Andrew Stallman's Rathcool Halo at the gate. And that was a cutout score of 21.5, added to his previous score of 20.5 is a two-round total of 42. Don't forget to come and have a look at TJ Saddles. There's a saddle just down below the announcer's box here. On camp, number 154, Morgan Marks and Ricochet. Morgan heads out onto the course with Ricochet into the camp, 155. Andrew Stallman, Rathcool Halo. Lead trainer, you'll be next with EBS Ronaldo. And that was a cutout of 22, added to the 77.5. Total score of 99.5 for Morgan Marks Ricochet. Next will be our Fernvale competitor, Andrew Stallman with Rathcool Halo. He comes in as competitor 155. Following Andrew, 156, lead trainer, 157, Jay Hall, 158. Jessica Wickham, 159, David Murphy, 160, Mitchell Hoy, 161, Michael Hiscock, 162, Ben Trainer, 163, Matthew Moffat, 164, Steve Comiskey, and 165 will be Cole Sylvester. All eyes are currently on competitor 155, Andrew Stallman and Rathcool Halo, looking to add to his previous score of 22. Cut out 21.5, Horsework 62, course 4 for an 87.5. Previous score of 22 gives a total of 109.5. 109.5 for Andrew Stallman and Rathcool Halo. Lead trainer now selects a beast, riding EBS Ronaldo, competitor 156. Jay's at the gate. Jay Hall, Hall's priority, 157, 158. Jessica Wickham, standby also. On course, competitor 156, lead trainer and EBS Ronaldo. Jay comes on camp at 157 with Hall's priority. And that was a cutout of 21 with a previous score of 20. It's a true round total of 41. We move down to 157, Jay Hall and Hall's priority. 84 in the first round. Standing by 158, Jessica Wickham, 159, David Murphy, 160, Mitchell Hoy, 161, Michael Hiscock, 162, Ben Tranner, 163, Matthew Moffat, 164, Steve Comiskey, 165, Cole Sylvester, 166, Aidan Elliott, 167, Peter Black, 168, Sam Campbell, 169, Laura McNaughton, 170, Harry Scott. And she's outside. Competitor 157, Jay Hall and Hall's priority. Previous score of 84. Next will be 158, Jessica Wickham and Chile, then 159, David Murphy and Mobile Price Tag. Then standing by 160, Mitchell Hoy's Ronchi Lena, and 161, Michael Hiscock and Mewburn Buick. And Jay has a camp score of 22 with her 84 as a total of 106. 106 for Jay Hall's priority. And I must say, the Weather Bureau got it right. They forecast a beautiful day for today, and it certainly is here at Wandoan. Outside, competitor 158, Jessica Wickham and Chile. She's building on a previous score of 22. David Murphy comes on camp at 159, mobile price tag, stand by 160, Mitchell Hoy's Raunchy Lena. And that's another 22. Two 22s are a 44 for Jessica Wickham and Chile. Looking over his cattle now is competitor 159, David Murphy, and mobile price tag. David comes into this round with a previous score of 89. So he'll be building on a score of 89. 160 stands by Mitchell Hoy, also 161 Michael Hiscock, 162 Ben Trainer, 163 Matthew Moffat, 164 Steve Comiskey, 165 Cole Sylvester, 166 Aidan Elliott. And David Murphy is out on the course riding mobile price tag, competitor 159. Previous score of 89. Mitchell Hoy comes on camp, Raunchy Lena, stand by 161 Michael Hiscock, Newburn Buick. Unfortunately, just a camp score this time with an 81 in the first round, total of 110. 110 for David Murphy, mobile price tag. Mitchell Hoy now moving into his cattle, riding Raunchy Lena. He's competitor 160. Had a previous score of 15.5. At the gates 161, Michael Hiscock, stand by 162, Ben Trainer, 163, Matthew Moffat, 164, Steve Comiskey. And he's out in the arena, competitor 160, Mitchell Hoy, Raunchy Lena. It's a cutout of 20 points, with his 15.5 is a total of 35.5 for Mitchell. Mafra competitor Michael Hiscock is on camp with Mewburn Buick. He's competitor 161. His previous score was a 22. Standing by 162, Ben Trainer, 163, Matthew Moffat, 164, Steve Comiskey, 165, Colin Sylvester, 166, Aidan Elliott, 167, Peter Black, 168, Sam Campbell, 169, Laura McNaughton. Score coming through for Michael Hiscock and Mewburn Buick. Cut out 16, horsework 60.5. Course 4 for an 80.5. Together with a 22 is a total of 102.5. 102.5. 162 is coming up very shortly. Ben Trainer and PCD Stevie Nicks. Matthew Moffat stands by at 163. JMD Fascinator. 164 Steve Comiskey. 165 Cole Sylvester. 166 Aidan Elliott. 167 Peter Black. 168 Sam Campbell. 169 Laura McNaughton. 170 Harry Scott. 171 Drew Fowles. 172 Michael Hayes. 173 Wyatt Young. 174 Georgia Edwards. And 175 Jason Penny. Read a few extras there, but we're back at 162 Ben Trainer and PCD Stevie Nicks. On course, competitor 162, Ben Trainer and PCD Stevie Nicks, looking to add to his previous score of 22, and he's given it away. We'll have a camp score. Camp score of 16 with his previous score of 22 is a total of 38. 38 points for Ben Trainer and PCD Stevie Nicks. We move down now to competitor 163, Matthew Moffat and JMD Fascinator. Matthew had an 86 from his first round. Standing by then 164, Steve Comiskey. 165, Cole Sylvester. 166, Aidan Elliott. 167, Peter Black. And he's outside. Competitor 163, Matthew Moffat and JMD Fascinator. Had an 86 in the first round. Certainly be looking to add to that. Steve Comiskey comes on camp at 164. Hat full of jewels. Standby 165. Cole Sylvester's Gangman. 166. Aidan Elliott's Mobile Jessie J. And 167. Peter Black's Out of Time. But it's Matthew Moffat we watch with JMD Fascinator. Competitor 163. We will be able to give you a score for Matthew. He has a cutout of 23, horsework 63, course 4 for a 90. A 90 that includes his 86 is a total of 176, 176 for Matthew Moffat and JMD Fascinator. Steve Comiskey now in camp at 164 with Hat Full of Jewels. Steve brings an 89 into this round, an 89. At the gates 165, Colin Sylvester and Gangman. Following Cole 166, Aidan Elliott. And he's outside. Competitor 164, Steve Comiskey and Hat Full of Jewels. Into the camps 165, Cole Sylvester. Stand by 166. Aidan Elliott, 167. Peter Black, 168. Sam Campbell, 169. Laura McNaughton, 170. Harry Scott, 171. Drew Fowles, 172. Michael Hayes. It's a cutout of 22. 22 with an 89 is a total of 111. 111 for Steve Comiskey. Hat full of jewels. Now we watch 165, Cole Sylvester and Gang Man. Unfortunately, Cole didn't score in the first round, so from here on in, he can only add to his points. Next competitor, 166, Aidan Elliott. Then we'll have 167, Peter Black. And he's out on course. Competitor 165, Cole Sylvester and Gangman. 166 goes on camp, Aidan Elliott, Mobile Jesse J. Then we'll have 167, Peter Black, out of time. 168, Sam Campbell, SDP, Scott David. And we'll have a score shortly for Cole Sylvester. He had a camp score of 15. That's a 15 for Cole Sylvester and Gangman. Now we watch competitor 166, Aidan Elliott, Mobile Jesse J. Peter Black will be standing by at 167, out of time. And then you'll be next, Sam Campbell, 168 with SDP, Scott David. And he's outside, out on course. Competitor 166, Aidan Elliott and Mobile Jesse J. On camps 167, Peter Black, out of time. 168 standing by, Sam Campbell, SDP, Scott David. And then 169, Laura McNaughton, Malunga's Fleur. 170, Harry Scott's Morangi, Romeo's Child. Aidan Elliott has a cutout of 14, so it's a total of 14. Out on course, competitor 167, Peter Black, and out of time. Peter had a 16 in the first round. Standing by then 168, Sam Campbell. Sam's on camp with SDP, Scott David. Standing by there 169, Laura McNaughton, 170, Harry Scott, 171, Drew Fowles, 172, Michael Hayes, 173, Wyatt Young. But all eyes are currently on competitor 167, Peter Black, out of time. And Peter will get a score, and as it comes through, it's a cutout of 16, horsework 61.5, course 4, for a total of 81.5. Previous score of 23 is a total of 104.5, 104.5 for Peter Black's Out of Time. Now we're watching competitor 168, Sam Campbell, with SDP Scott David. Sam brings a 21.5 into this round. At the gates, 169, Laura McNaughton's Malunga's Fleur, and then we'll have 170, Harry Scott, Morangi Romeo's Child. Score for Sam Campbell and SDP Scott David. Cut out 22, horsework 64.5, course 4 for a 90.5 with his 21.5 is a total of 112. 112 points. Laura McNaughton is on camp with Malunga's Fleur. She comes in as competitor 169. Following Laura, we'll have 170, Harry Scott, 171, Drew Fowles, 172, Michael Hayes, 173, Wyatt Young, 174, Georgia Edwards, 175, Jason Penny, 176, Darby Ryan, 177, Matt Holtz, 178, Luke McEwen, 179, Jack Mann, and 180 will be Joe Payne. But it's Laura McNaughton we watch, competitor 169, Malunga's Fleur. Competitor 169 on course, Laura McNaughton and Malunga's Fleur. She had a 22 in the first round. Harry Scott, you'll be next at 170. Stand by 171, Drew Fowles, 172, Michael Hayes, 173, Wyatt Young. Score for Laura McNaughton and Malunga's Fleur, cut out 21.5, horsework 52.5, course 3 for a 77. 22 in the first round, that's an aggregate of 99. 99 for Laura McNaughton and Malunga's Fleur. Local competitor Harry Scott, competitor 170 with Morangi Romeo's Child, had an 85.5 in the first round. So Harry will be looking to add to that. Drew Fowles, you'll be in next at 171 with Tubby. Stand by 172, Michael Hayes, 173, Wyatt Young, 174, Georgia Edwards. Outside, 170, Harry Scott with Morangi Romeo's Child. That 85.5 in the first round. Drew Fowles on camp at 171 and Tubby. And Harry has a cutout of 21 with his 85.5. That's to 106.5, 106.5. Drew Fowles is acknowledging the judge, and he's underway riding Tubby. He comes in as competitor 171, has a previous score of 20.5. 172's next, Michael Hayes, Hazelwood Conacre. 173 White Young, Just As Proud. 174 Georgia Edwards Contest. 175 Jason Penny, Hazelwood Conduct. 176 Darby Ryan's Royal Lady Ray. 177 Matt Holds, Hazelwood Country Blues. But outside you're watching Drew Fowles and Tubby, competitor 171, looking to add to his previous score of 20.5. Score for Drew Fowles and Tubby cut out 20.5. Horsework 50, course 3 for a 73.5. 20.5 previous score, aggregate now of 94. 94, Drew Fowles and Tubby. And he's underway. Competitor 172, Michael Hayes and Hazelwood Conacre. Previous score of 84.5. 84.5. White Young, you'll be next at 173, Just As Proud. And Michael Hayes is out on course with Hazelwood Conacre. He's looking to build on his 84.5. And he did. It's a 22. So it's a 22 yard with an 84.5, total of 106.5. 106.5 for Michael Hayes and Hazelwood Conacre. We now watch competitor 173, White Young, Just As Proud. Had an 86 in his previous round. Standing by 174 Georgia Edwards, 175 Jason Penny, 176 Darby Ryan, 177 Matt Holds, 178 Luke McEwen, 179 Jack Mann, 180 Joe Payne, 181 Tom Wallace, 182 Austin Elias. In the arena, competitor 173 Wyatt Young, Just As Proud. Previous score of 86. On camp 174, Georgia Edwards, and at the gate 175, Jason Penny. Score for Wyatt Young and Just As Proud. Cut out 23, horsework 60, course 4 for an 87. Previous score of 86, two round total of 173. 173 points. Wyatt Young, Just As Proud. Georgia Edwards now will be on camp. She comes in riding contest. She's competitor 174 with a previous score of 22. Jason Penny, you'll be next at 175, Hazelwood Conduct. Then we'll be looking to 176, Darby Ryan. So unfortunately no score there for Georgia Edwards in contest, and that'll give her a total score of 22. So we clear that beast from the camp, and we will then continue on with competitor 175, Jason Penny and Hazelwood Conduct. Oh, that worked well. It's a flush of the cattle anyway. We're at 25, so we will clear the entire camp. And so when we come back, we'll continue with competitor 175, Jason Penny and Hazelwood Conduct. Then we'll have 176, Darby Ryan, Royal Lady Ray. 177, Matt Holtz, Hazelwood Country Blues. 178, Luke McEwen, Durawi Black Viper. 179, Jack Mann's Metallic Chief. Out on course, competitor 175, Jason Penny and Hazelwood Conduct. Working on his previous score of 85. Jason Penny into the camp, 176, Darby Ryan, Royal Lady Ray. Stand by 177, Matt Holtz, 178, Luke McEwen, 179, Jack Mann, 180, Joe Payne, 181, Tom Wallace. But the all eyes are currently on competitor 175, Jason Penny and Hazelwood Conduct. Score coming through. Cut out 21.5, horsework 63.5, course 4 for an 89, together with an 85. There's a total of 174, 174. Jason Penny, Hazelwood Conduct. $176 on camp, Darby Ryan, Royal Lady Ray. Had a previous score of 21. Standing by 177, Matt Holtz, 178, Luke McEwen, 179, Jack Mann, 180, Joe Payne, 181, Tom Wallace, 182, Austin Elias, 183 is out, 184, Michael Reid, 185, Sarah Webster, 186, Bill Kerry, and 187 is Daniel Imsirovic. $176 on course, Darby Ryan, Royal Lady Ray. 21 in his previous round. Matt Holtz is on camp at 177, stand by 178, Luke McEwen, 179, Jack Mann. Darby will get a score. We'll give him a score shortly. Cut out 21.5, horsework 57, course 3 for an 81.5, together with an 21 is an aggregate of 102.5, 102.5 for Darby Ryan and Royal Lady Ray. We scroll up the page to competitor 177, Matt Holtz and Hazelwood Country Blues. This combination scored an 88 in the first round. 88. At the gates, 178, Luke McEwen, Durawi Black Viper. Then we'll have 179, Jack Mann, 180, Joe Payne, 181, Tom Wallace, 182, Austin Elias. 183 is a scratching, 184, Michael Reid, 185, Sarah Webster. Please stand by. And we will keep reminding people, but at approximately 1 p.m, Tyler and Tim from the live stream crew would like to interview some young children who have made the trip to Juandah. Any children who'd like to be involved in the interviews, check with Mum and Dad first, and if it's okay with them, we'll see you at the Sandpit at 1 o'clock for a chat. If you want to get on the live stream, this is your opportunity. And that's unfortunate. There's no score for Matt Holtz and Hazelwood Country Blues. He goes out with an 88. Luke McEwen we watch, competitor 178, Durawi Black Viper. Comes into this round with a previous score of 14.5. Jack Mann will go on camp at 179 with Metallic Chief. And 180 standby Joe Payne and Cashmont Bling. We watch competitor 178, Luke McEwen and Durawi Black Viper. Score for Luke McEwen and Durawi Black Viper, cut out 21, horsework 58, course 3 for an 82, together with a 14.5 is a total of 96.5. That's an aggregate of 96.5. Jack Mann is on camp with Metallic Chief. He is competitor 179. He brings an 87.5 into the second round, an 87.5. Of course, that's the second round of the Power Contracting and Farming and Power Energy Open Campdraft. Joe Payne stands by at 180 with Cashmont Bling. 81, Tom Wallace's Demore Cat. 182, Austin Elias, Cantor Park, Kid You Not. 183 is out. 184, Michael Reid, Confidence Man. 185, Sarah Webster's Botox. 186, Bill Carey's Telly. And 187, Daniel Imsirovic and Tabasco. And Jack Mann is out on the course with Metallic Chief, competitor 179. Previous score, 87.5. Joe Payne's on camp with Cashmont Bling, 180. You'll be next. Tom Wallace at 181, Denmore Cat. Cut out 22, horsework 58.5. Course 4 for an 84.5, 87.5 in the first round. Together is an aggregate of 172, 172 for Jackman and Metallic Chief. Joe's underway, competitive 180, Joe Payne, Cashmont Bling. He brings a 22.5 into this round. Then we'll have competitor 181, Tom Wallace, 182, Austin Elias, 184, Michael Reid, 185, Sarah Webster, 186, Bill Carey. Outside, 180, Joe Payne and Cashmont Bling. We have a score for Joe Payne and Cashmont Bling. And that was a cutout of a 22, along with a 22.5 is a total of 44.5, 44.5. Selecting his beast now is competitor 181, Tom Wallace and Denmore Cat. At the gates 182, Austin Elias, Cantor Park, Kid You Not. And standing by 184, Michael Reid, Confidence Man. 185, Sarah Webster's Botox. 186, Bill Carey's Telly. 187, Daniel Imsurovic and Tabasco. 188, Pete Comiskey's Irvine's Just Jim. 189, Ben McNaughton's Tiptoe. And 190 will be Dean Rogers and JP Impact. Tom Wallace and Denmore Cat head out into the arena. Competitor 181. Tom had a previous score of 21. Score for Tom Wallace and Denmore Cat, cut out 22. With his horsework 62.5, course 4 for an 88.5, together with a 21 is an aggregate of 109.5. So 22, 62.5 and 4 for an 88.5. With a 21 is a 109.5 for Tom Wallace, Denmore Cat. 182 on camp, Austin Elias, Cantor Park, Kid You Not. Austin brings a 21.5 into this round, 21.5. The next competitor is scratched. So we should have at the gate 184, Michael Reid and Confidence Man. Sarah Webster, you'll follow Michael at 185. And we have a cutout score there of 15.5, together with a 21.5, total 37 points. Austin Elias, Cantor Park, kid you not. Scratching, and we move down to 184, Michael Reid and Confidence Man. 82 in the first round for Michael Reid and Confidence Man. $185 standing by, Sarah Webster. 186, Bill Kerry. 187, Daniel Imsirovic. 188, Pete Comiskey. 189, Ben McNaughton. 190, Dean Rogers. 191, William Chugg. 192, Barry Johnson. 193, Andrew Turvey. And 194 will be Rick Hopkins. That is a no score there for Michael Reid, and Confidence Man goes out with an 82. We have another local competitor, competitor 185, Sarah Webster, and Botox will be our next competitor. Sarah comes in with a 22 from her previous score. Bill Kerry stands by at 186 and 187, Daniel Imsirovic. 188, Pete Comiskey. 189, Ben McNaughton. 190, Dean Rogers. 191, William Chugg. 192, Barry Johnson. 193, Andrew Turvey. 194, Rick Hopkins. 195, Jackie Knudsen. 196, Ken Knudsen. 197, Carly Graham. 198, Rowan Marks. 199, Kerry Turner. 200, Adrian Lamb. We've just tidied up the camp, and we continue on now with competitor 185, Sarah Webster and Botox. Outside, competitor 185, Sarah Webster and Botox. She's looking to add to her 22 that she brings into this round. Bill Carey, you'll be in next with 186 with Tally, standing by 187, Daniel Imsirovic and Tabasco. And that was a cutout of 15.5, totalling 37.5 for Sarah Webster's Botox. Our next competitor, 186, Bill Carey and Telly. 81 in the first round. Standing by 187, Daniel Imsirovic. 188, Pete Comiskey. 189, Ben McNaughton. 190, Dean Rogers. 191, William Chugg. 192, Barry Johnson. On course, competitor 186, Bill Carey and Telly. Previous score of 81. 187, Daniel Imsirovic, you're next with Tabasco. Stand by 188, Pete Comiskey's Irvine's Just Jim. 189, Ben McNaughton's Tiptoe. And 190, Dean Rogers, JP Impact. Score for Bill Carey and Telly, cut out 16, horsework 58.5, course 4 for a total of 78.5, 81 in the first round, total of 159.5, 159.5 for Bill Carey and Telly. Selecting a beast now is competitor 187, Daniel Imsirovic and Tabasco. He brings 14.5 into this round. Pete Comiskey stands by with Irvine's Just Jim at 188. Standing by also 189, Ben McNaughton's Tiptoe. 190, Dean Rogers, JP Impact. 191, William Chugg's Acres. Out on course, 187, Daniel Imsirovic, Tabasco. Pete's on camp at 188, stand by 189, Ben McNaughton. Cut out 21, horsework 59.5, course 4 for an 84.5, with a previous 14.5 is a total of 99. It's 99 for Daniel Imsirovic and Tabasco. We now look to 188, Pete Comiskey and Irvine's Just Jim. Pete brings an 89.5, 89.5 into this round. Standing by 189, Ben McNaughton. 190, Dean Rogers. 191, William Chugg. 192, Barry Johnson. 193, Andrew Turvey. 194, Rick Hopkins. 195, Jackie Knutson. 196, Ken Knutson. 197, Kylie Graham. And Pete Comiskey as out on the course with Irvine's Just Jim, competitor 188. 89.5 in his first round. Score for Pete Comiskey, Irvine's Just Jim, cut out 22, horsework 61.5, course 4 for an 87.5, together with an 89.5 is a total of 177. Aggregate of 177 for Pete Comiskey, Irvine's Just Jim. And he's underway. Competitor 189, Ben McNaughton and Tiptoe brings a 22 into this round. Stand by Dean Rogers, JP Impact at 190, 191. William Chugg's Acres Machacho, 192. Barry Johnson's Adele, 193. Andrew Turvey's Tell Us I'm Smooth, and 194. Rick Hopkins, Watches Oman. Score for Ben McNaughton and Tiptoe, cut out 22.5. Horsework 63, course 4 for an 89.5. 22 in the first round, aggregate 111.5. 111.5. On course, competitor 190, Dean Rogers and JP Impact. Dean brings an 87 into this round. William Chugg comes on camp at 191. Acres Machacho, stand by 192. Barry Johnson's Adele. That you're watching. Competitor 190, Dean Rogers, JP Impact. And that was a cutout of 21.5 with an 87, total of 108.5. He's just acknowledged the judges. Competitor 191, William Chugg and Acres Machacho. Brings a 22 into this round. Barry Johnson stands by with Adele at 192. Andrew Turvey with Tell Us I'm Smooth at 193. Outside, William Chugg and Acres Machacho. And he has a total score of 44.5. $192, Barry Johnson on camp with Adele. 87 in the first round. Andrew Turvey, you'll be next at 193 with Tell Us I'm Smooth. And then we'll have 194, Rick Hopkins, 195, Jackie Knutson, 196, Ken Knutson, 197, Kylie Graham, 198, Rowan Marks, 199, Kerry Turner, 200, Adrian Lamb, and 201, Daniel Cheers. Barry Johnson we watch with Adele, competitor 192. Had an 87 in the first round. Andrew Turvey's on camp at 193, standby 194, Rick Hopkins 195, Jackie Knutson And we'll have a cutout score there for Barry of 21 with his 87 is a total of 108. Selecting his beast now is competitor 193, Andrew Turvey, and Tell Us I'm Smooth. Andrew brings a score of 90.5 into this second round, 90.5. Rick Hopkins, you'll be next at 194. Stand by 195, Jackie Knutson, 196, Ken Knutson. Competitor 193 on course, Andrew Turvey, and Tell Us I'm Smooth. He's looking to add to his first round score of 90.5. Rick Hopkins, you'll be on camp at 91.94 with Watcher's Omen. And standing by 195, Jackie Knutson's Say No More. 196, Ken Knutson's Kilbeg and Karma, and 197, Kylie Graham's Metallic Moon. And we will get a score for Andrew Turvey and Tell Us I'm Smooth very shortly. Cut out 21. Horsework 58.5. Course 4 for an 83.5 with a 90.5 is a total of 174. 174 for Andrew Turvey and Tell Us I'm Smooth. 194 on camp. Rick Hopkins, Watches Omen. 85 in the first round. Jackie Knutson's now on camp at 195. Say No More. Ken will be standing by with Kilbeg and Karma at 196. Yeah, 21 there for Rick Hopkins, and Watches Omen with an 85 is a total of 106. We watch competitor 195, Jackie Knutson, and Say No More. Jackie unfortunately didn't have a score in the last round. She's looking to build on it now. Ken Knutson comes on camp at 196 with Kilbeg and Karma. Then we'll have 197, Kylie Graham, Metallic Moon, 198, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Goolagong, 199, Kerry Turner's Stud, Matlock, 200, Adrian Lamb's Bellevue, Shania, and 201, Daniel Cheers, Teller. And just be aware we will do an arena drag. As we do every 100. Yeah, 21.5 there for Jackie Knutson and Say No More. Ken Knutson's out on course. He's competitor 196, Kilbeggan Karma. Standby 197, Kylie Graham. Metallic Moon 198, Rowan Marks. Turner Marks, Goolagong. It's a cutout of 22, horsework 63, course 4 for an 89. And a 90 in the first round, 2-round total of 179. 179 for Ken Knutson and Kilbeggan Karma. Apologies there, we just have a little computer glitch. Just once again, score for Ken Knutson, Kilbeggan Karma has a total of 179 points. That's an 89 and a 90. Kylie Graham now on camp at 197. She comes in with a 23 from her previous round, riding Metallic Moon. Then we'll have 198, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Goolagong, and 199, Kerry Turner's Stud Matlock. Lunch is outside, competitor 197, Kylie Graham and Metallic Moon. 23 in the first round. Rowan Marks comes on camp at 198. Turner Marks, Goolagong. Standby 199, Kerry Turner, Turner's Stud Matlock. And 200, Adrian Lamb, Bellevue, Shania. We will drag the arena and then continue on with competitor 201, Daniel Cheers, and 202, Anthony Elliott. Rowan Marks we watch with Turner Marks Goolagong. He had a 22 in his previous round. And he will get a camp score in this round. And that's another 22. So 44 total for Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Goolagong. Currently on camp, 199, Kerry Turner and Turner's Stud Matlock. Kerry brings an 86.5 into this round. Standby 200, Adrian Lamb and Bellevue, Shania. So don't forget, all your children want to have that yarn with mum and dad, because at approximately 1 p.m, Tyler and Tim from the live stream crew would like to interview some of you who've made the trip to Juandah with your mum and dad. Any children who would like to be involved in the interviews, please check with your mum and dad first. And if it's okay with them, we'll see you at the sandpit at 1 o'clock, so you can go live stream. And she's called for a gate. Out on course, competitor 199, Kerry Turner and Turner's stud Matlock. Previous score of 86.5. And she'll go away with a camp score of 22, totalling 108.5, 108.5 for Kerry Turner and Turner stud Matlock. And this is 200, Adrian Lamb and Bellevue Shania. 22 in the first round. And at the completion of this run, we will drag the arena and continue on with competitor 201, Daniel Cheers. 202, Anthony Elliott. 203, Beck Hayes. 204, Kylie McPhee. 205, Ben Weller. 206, Vicky Hiscock. 207, Lloyd Davidson. You can watch competitor 200, Adrian Lamb and Bellevue Shania. Adrian has a camp score of 22, totalling 44. 44 total for Adrian Lamb, Bellevue Shania. So we take a very short break in the power contracting and farming and power energy open camp draft to prepare our arena for the rest of the competitors.